Did you know that every day, the average adult makes around 35,000 decisions? That's right, 35,000. From choosing what to wear to deciding what to eat, our brains are constantly at work. But for leaders, the stakes are even higher. They face critical choices that can shape the future of their teams and organizations. Yet, research shows that 75% of executives report feeling overwhelmed by decision-making. This overwhelming burden leads to a phenomenon called decision fatigue. As decisions pile up, mental energy depletes, and leaders can struggle to think clearly. In fact, studies reveal that after making just a few decisions, our ability to make more declines sharply. This decline can lead to poorer choices, missed opportunities, and ultimately, burnout. In this article, we'll explore why leaders face this silent struggle and share effective strategies to combat decision fatigue. You'll discover practical tips on how to simplify your decision-making process, delegate effectively, and recharge your mental energy. So, if you're ready to reclaim your leadership power, keep reading. Chapter 1. The hidden burden of choices. Leaders often face an overwhelming number of decisions daily. From budget allocations to hiring choices, even down to what's served at a team lunch, these decisions add up. But here's something that might surprise you. Even small decisions drain mental energy. According to research from Roy Baumeister, a leading social psychologist, every decision we make depletes a limited resource in our brain, often referred to as decision-making fuel. When leaders are forced to make too many choices, that fuel runs out quickly. And when that happens, decision quality starts to drop. A 2011 study from Columbia University found that judges were more likely to grant parole earlier in the day, and as they became fatigued, they were more likely to deny it. Why? They were conserving energy by making the safest choice, doing nothing. For leaders, the hidden burden of choices affects not only their professional decisions but also their personal life. It's why Barack Obama famously only wore gray or blue suits during his presidency. His logic? I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing because I have too many other decisions to make, he explained. Strategy 1. Eliminate low-impact decisions. Reduce unnecessary choices by creating routines or habits. Consider automating or delegating smaller tasks like scheduling or meal planning. This frees up mental space for the decisions that truly matter. Chapter 2. The silent energy drain. Most leaders assume that only big decisions drain them. But in reality, it's the cumulative effect of small decisions that takes a serious toll. The mind doesn't differentiate between big and small decisions when it comes to burning mental energy. Whether you're deciding on a major investment or what meeting room to book, it all chips away at your mental stamina. Psychologist Barry Schwartz, author of The Paradox of Choice, explains that having more options isn't always better. In fact, too many options often lead to increased anxiety, decision paralysis, and regret after the decision is made. This is particularly relevant for leaders who are bombarded with multiple choices throughout the day. A fascinating statistic from the Harvard Business Review shows that executives spend nearly 23% of their time managing email. Every decision on whether to reply, ignore, or forward drains valuable mental energy. No wonder by the end of the day, making even the smallest decision, like what to have for dinner, feels exhausting. Strategy 2. Batch similar decisions. Grouping decisions together helps reduce cognitive load. For instance, decide on all scheduling for the week at once, or tackle similar tasks in a single time block. This reduces the mental switching cost and keeps your brain fresher for larger decisions. Chapter 3. The Paradox of Power. When leaders lose control. Here's a strange paradox. The more power and authority a leader gains, the more they often feel out of control. Why? As you climb the leadership ladder, the number of decisions you're responsible for skyrockets. You're not just making decisions for yourself anymore, but for an entire organization. Adam Grant, a top organizational psychologist, refers to this as leadership overload. Leaders want to be involved in every decision, but that's a trap. The more you try to control every detail, the more overwhelmed you become. And when you're overloaded, decision fatigue sets in fast. One interesting study from Deloitte found that over 65% of executives feel they're stretched too thin. This results in poorer decision-making, with leaders often defaulting to safer, more conservative choices to avoid risk, even when bold decisions are required. Strategy 3. Delegate decisively. Empower your team to make smaller decisions so you can focus on the bigger picture. Letting go of control doesn't mean losing power. It means freeing up your mind to think strategically. As the saying goes, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, but they don't need to personally handle every step of the journey. If you find these insights valuable, make sure to subscribe for more tips on effective leadership strategies. Let's keep unlocking your potential as a leader. Chapter 4. Decision paralysis. The overload crisis. One of the most frustrating effects of decision fatigue is decision paralysis. When leaders are overwhelmed by too many options or decisions, they often freeze, unable to choose at all. This can slow down progress or lead to missed opportunities. A famous study by Iyengar and Lepper found that when consumers were presented with 24 different types of jam, they were far less likely to buy any compared to when only 6 types were offered. Too many choices create paralysis, and this applies to leadership too. Leaders facing overload often take the safest path by doing nothing, avoiding decisions entirely. But inaction is its own decision, and it can lead to stagnation. John C. Maxwell, in his book The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, states, "The law of the lid means that a leader's ability to make decisions sets the limit on their effectiveness. When leaders don't decide, the whole organization suffers." One of the best ways to fight decision paralysis is to create a personal decision-making framework. By outlining clear criteria for different types of decisions, leaders can streamline the process and avoid overthinking. Strategy 4. Create decision frameworks. Set up rules or guidelines that narrow down choices automatically. For instance, if a decision doesn't impact the company's long-term goals or mission, delegate it or discard it. This approach minimizes analysis paralysis and keeps decision-making moving forward. Chapter 5. The power of no. Delegation and focus. Leaders often feel they need to say yes to everything. But this constant yes culture is a significant factor in decision fatigue. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is about saying no." The ability to say no to distractions, unnecessary meetings, and low-priority tasks is critical for conserving mental energy. Yet, many leaders struggle with this. Interestingly, a Harvard Business Review survey revealed that leaders spend up to 39% of their time in meetings, with many feeling that half of those meetings are unproductive. Every time a leader says yes to a new project or meeting, they are saying no to something else, often something more important. One solution is to embrace the power of delegation. Delegation isn't about giving up control, it's about empowering others. Jocko Willink, in his book Extreme Ownership, argues that effective leaders delegate tasks not just to free up time but to grow their team's abilities and build trust. By delegating more, leaders can focus their energy on the decisions that truly require their attention. Strategy 5. Master the art of saying no and delegate effectively. Prioritize decisions that align with your core objectives, and hand off the rest. Use a simple rule. If someone else on your team can do it 80% as well as you, let them handle it. Chapter 6. Recharge strategies. Break free from the fatigue cycle. Once decision fatigue sets in, it's hard to break free. That's why recharging and resetting are essential strategies for leaders. While the traditional advice might include taking a vacation or unplugging for a weekend, it's the daily habits that truly make a difference. Arianna Huffington, in her book Thrive, emphasizes the importance of sleep, stating that leaders who get enough rest perform better and make sharper decisions. Yet, in the fast-paced world of leadership, rest often gets pushed aside. Interestingly, research from the National Institutes of Health found that decision-making abilities significantly improve after even short breaks. Leaders who take time to reset, whether through mindfulness, exercise, or even a quick walk, return to their tasks with more clarity and focus. One powerful recharge strategy comes from James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. He recommends developing micro habits that promote mental clarity, such as taking 5-minute breaks every hour or setting aside 10 minutes in the morning for planning. Small adjustments like these can have a massive impact on reducing decision fatigue. Strategy 6. Incorporate micro-habits and prioritize mental recovery. Build daily routines that allow your brain to reset. Whether it's a short walk, meditation, or simply stepping away from your desk, small breaks can significantly improve your decision-making stamina. If you enjoyed these insights, don't forget to subscribe for more practical advice on enhancing your leadership skills. Together, we can tackle decision fatigue and unlock your full potential.